is not on for the normal reason of us being bullish. It's actually a very different reason. If you pay attention to what the hat's going to scroll across one letter at a time, you're going to be able to see my strategy going forward, and I don't even need to speak of it anymore. It's just going to be on the hat. I call it the triple X Ha strategy. I talked to Julie about it yesterday. I got rid of a slew of things in my portfolio. And it's going to be very defined. Some people aren't going to understand it. Some people will, especially if you go back to the beginning of the show. I'm going back to the basics in 2026. We had a great year in 25. But it's going to be a very, 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 very defined focus. And you got to watch one step at a time. But you'll get used to it, what that strategy is. You'll hear about it a lot going forward. But I dubbed it the triple X Ha strategy. And those are the things that I'm going to be focused on going forward. And it's a real defined reason why. Like we talked yesterday about XRP, how we were building a head and shoulders. And if it didn't break out past the $1.88, especially pushing past this right shoulder area at $1.90, it's putting in a short-term head and shoulders. And that's the warning that I put out this morning. Told everybody to be very careful in the Telegram last night. Just protect your capital. Because we're dealing with, a lot of up and down. We're dealing with a lot of, I don't want to say tragedy in crypto, but we're definitely dealing with a lot of bearishness. And I think we're going to have a unified moment here once we get down to, well, we got to see if wave 4 can pick up here or if we end up contracting back down, which would make this slightly more difficult for everybody who's trying to do this. But if we end up having a strategy in place going forward, and I think I have a good one, and it's tokens that I've always liked, tokens that I continue to trade, but now going forward, I don't want to have 10 different tokens. I talked to Julie yesterday, I was just like, listen, I'm doing the X, Y, and Z, and she agreed. There's something about trying to have a more focused, I'm trying to figure out which color would be best for this. But I guess it comes across nice. You can actually see what it says. But it's a very defined strategy, and we'll get into it. I got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, not just in cryptocurrency, but also in the precious metals market, gold and silver. But it's going to be a pretty interesting thing. So we'll get into this. We'll get into this very deeply. But I can tell you the XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR algo strategy, triple X Ha. Think of it that way. Just think of it that way going forward. Now, there's some things that are untouchable. Like I have the XRP healthcare that sits in the wallet that won't move until eternity. And then I have Epic that's going to sit in the back burner. But when I talk about my tokens, I'm not talking about anything else but the triple X Ha strategy going forward. I don't want to look at anything else. I want to have a more confined look when I approach these markets. So I want to make sure that we stay on track, because it's going to be harder and harder to navigate if we have 50,000 different tokens in these times. And we've got to find the right utility token. So I'm trying to stick with the X's, as I've talked about in the past. And then I love Algo, what it presents in the future, and HBAR for its privacy. So that's the plan that I have. Right now, the only thing that I really hold right now is XRP, the XRP healthcare, and then basically just what's on crypto.com, as you guys know. And that's just going to stay like that. But I'm not going to always talk about that portfolio. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. That's the CRO, that's the Epic, and that's the VeChain, and that just sits over there. It's debatable whether or not I would let go of VeChain if it breaks a cent. The rest is not debatable. Forward, I would have it, but as far as I'm talking in the strategy, this is the 5 defined order I'm going with. And I took a lot of time. I thought about this very deeply. And anybody who knows my roots, you know why I would pick it in this direction. The only thing that I would have changed out for something or added in addition, but I can't have, if IOTA ever becomes available on Kraken, obviously we would talk about that. But as of right now, I don't see any reason to go outside the box. I'm not going with 500 million token or 150, 200 billion tokens. I'm not going with the speculators. I'm not even going to have Axelar right now because I don't know what's going on with their doers. So I'm just staying in order. I'm staying with what I know, and I'm staying within a certain segment. So we're bouncing off of XRP into XLM as well, and XDC for the 3Xs, XDC with the R3/4, XLM picks up the slack that XRP doesn't push out into a different population, and obviously XRP runs the show. And I'm a very big fan of algo because I believe in the African side, in the African continent. It's very big. There's a lot of things below the scenes, but you got to get it at the right price. And HBAR is going to be one of those privacy tokens down below that you really don't be able to talk about as a privacy token, but it's actually interjected in a much, much, much wider circulation or circulatory fashion when it comes into the new financial system. So on my hat, it can scroll like that. You guys tell me. The problem is it's inverted, and there's nothing I can do about it unless I switch my hat inside out, which I can. But I can either have the effect like this, or I can put it in landscape, and you can tell me, and I'll make it scroll slower, just so it's not so crazy. But this is the way that I can do this. But it's understand, like if I do it like this, and here it's gonna take a second. It's gonna be more clustered. So, but it might be easier to read like that, like XRP. Even though it's backwards, yeah, that's probably easier. Is that easier? You can let me know. Good morning, 10:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Actually, you know what? I could do it like this. I don't care. I really don't care about looking stupid. That's never bothered me. Nope, it's gonna look not so good like this, is it? Upside down. Yeah. So, isn't that interesting? So, I guess we're doing it like, I mean, I can switch it to the other way. But, let's see. There's so many things I can do with that, but I think you can read this. I think it's easy enough to read. I think you can see what it's trying to say. All right, Grand Cutting Tokens. I think I may go all in on Algo, ADA, Linea, XDC, and maybe XLM or HBAR, nothing else. The only reason I don't have Linea on this list is because that's going to have to be a standalone because they're releasing, again, a shitload of tokens on the 10th of January. So, in every single time that's happened, the price is cut about 30%. So, for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to let them do what they're going to do, and then I'll pick it up after if I have to. But this is my strategy. This is my strategy. And my board's going to emphasize that. I think it's the right strategy. I think it's the right tokens. I think it's the right place to set everything up. I really do. And I've been studying this for years, and I think that this is the right way to go. So you're going to see on this, and then it's just going to say the XXX HA strategy. And then it says 2026 at the end if you follow this all the way through. So, now I wonder, Julie, should I go left to right instead of right to left? You think that would make it look better? But we got to get into the XRP chart as we talked about. That micro head and shoulders, which is going to allow us to set this up. So basically the way I look at this, if I have 10,000 XRP, and this is just the way I'm looking at this. So you figure at this point, if you had 10,000 XRP, if you have, and it's a weird way to look at this, but the way I want to do this is I don't want any less than 50,000 HBAR if I'm doing this. Maybe It depends where the price settles, because if we do end up in a wave 4, we can do this a little bit quicker, and then I can realign it so I can show everybody this way I have it set up. It's just moving it out last night and trying to figure this out. It was in a good spot because we had this micro movement to the downside. I still think wave 4 is upon us coming. So I think 26 is going to be opportunity. It's just you have to find the right opportunity. So if I was doing 10,000 XRP, and it's not apples to apples because it's not $3,000 anymore for 10,000, it's 18,000, and I get that, and we're lucky enough to have it already. Now, if I'm looking at the rest, it's like you're not going to get $18,000 of a value on each and every one of them. So if you had 10,000 XRP because of pricing, it's almost like what I want to do is with the 10,000 XRP, I would very, very much take 3-to-1 on XLM, depending on what the price gets to. So a minimum of 30,000. I would take 3-to-1 on XRP with the pricing. But when it comes to XDC, because of the pricing, and I know it's greedy, it's very greedy. It's very greedy. I want 10-to-1. No, 20-to-1. If I could, what I hold of XRP. So you're talking about at least 200,000 tokens of XDC. At this point, that's like 10 grand. H-bar, there's no way in this scenario, if it continues like this, that I would want any less than 50,000 tokens, especially if the price continues down. So when I started looking at the portfolio, I said, this is doable. I just got to cut off all the shit. I got to cut off all the junk. You know, and the junk, as much as I like certain things, they're junk. In this regard, Shiba's junk because of how many tokens it has. And because of the uncertain nature, like that wouldn't even make my top 5. So it's junk. XRP Healthcare, I don't mind letting it just sit there and never acknowledge it because that's the point of it. It just sits there and we don't acknowledge it like Epic. I don't mind stuff like that where they don't even exist, or like CRO for the Visa debit card. But as far as doing stuff now, this is all I'm doing. So if anybody asks, XRP, XLM, XDC, H-bar, algo. That's it. The triple X HA. See, triple X HA strategy. XRP, XLM, XDC, H-bar, algo. So what do you think about that? And then it says 2026 after strategy. That's why. 20, 20. Even though it's inverted. Even though it's backwards. Although, ow. But that's what I think going forward. I think that's you guys let me know what you think about that strategy. So, and that's where I think we got outside of ourselves a little bit. We're looking at all these other things. Yes, it'd be great to have all these other tokens. But it feels better when you have specific utility tokens that you don't have to worry about. I mean, you have to worry about pricing, where you get in, and all the other nonsense. But outside of that, you know, you don't really have nothing to worry about. Right, Julie? Mm-hmm. So which way did I have this? Right to left this time? Yeah. No. Yes. Ah, fuck it. I'll keep it like that. I wanted to see if it would switch the way it looked if I switched it the other way. I did. Now I just have to make sure the configuration is the same. But I think, well, this is what Julie got me for Christmas, and I'm very excited about it because I think it's going to allow me to do different kind of things. And I'm a weird person, so I like to do different things than most people. So here, let me send this and see if it goes the opposite way in how it looks. But anyhow, the only other thing that I would say if there was funds available, and I am not opposed to this, and it could even be the HA with the double A, would be with ADA. So that is still, if I can fit it with the exact tokens I want, you can extend the HA because it fits into the agenda with ADA, but only if I can fit the quota. I'm not sacrificing the quota for ADA. Charles Hawkinson, I can't do it for him. At least switching the quota. Let's see. Oh, I never sent it. Whoops. Yeah, I guess I'll just keep it like this. But everybody, welcome, and I really do appreciate you tuning in with me on this New Year's Eve. Don't think just because we had this micro bearishness that the market's just going to die. There's still, unless this gives it all back and it invalidates this thesis, we still have a wave 4. And it's just the way it goes. There's still a wave 4. Let me shut this off and turn it back on to reset it. But we need to see if validation happens. So, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just trying to set this up so you can all see it. But I'm trying to get creative here when it comes to the way I can put out what I do without having to explain myself every 2 seconds. And if I have something that I'm really in love with, that's, what does he have? What does that say?
Bring that little boy back to this room.
Oh, let's see if it goes to the right. Let's see if it goes to the right. That's what I wanted to see. So now it's upside down. Yeah, see, now it's going the opposite way. Okay, that's fine. We'll just keep it left. And then I guess for Michigan, because they're playing today. They're playing in their crappy bowl game against Texas, nonetheless. But since we got Kyle Whittingham, and he came from Utah, and I'm gonna, if 1970 Legends in here for the Buckeyes, I'm gonna put it red. I know. This is for you, 1970 Legend, if you're watching out in the abyss, and for the Utah fans, because they've been very supportive of Michigan. Can we even see? Nah, sorry, can't see. See, once again, I can't even show it because it doesn't look good. Now let's see how yellow looks.
Thomas, you're gonna spend all the time playing.
Well, it's because I want them to be able to see it. I just screwed it up. Now they can't see it. Might as well just put it white. There. I'm just going to put it white so you can see this. Anyhow, we got to get cooking here. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. Mark Casson, good morning. Thanks for being in Towns Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Badge with Mick Shoot. 2 Ravens. Thanks for being in Towns Army for 2 years plus with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. My Yard Now, thanks for being in Towns Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor. John Bugathorpe, good morning. Jordan, good morning. Crypto Cooter, Joseph Euler, Define, thanks for being in Towns Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Frankie Fresh. Really, really appreciate all of you. Thanks for being very trusted mods in here in the Telegram. Define and Crypto Cooter. Lori, good morning. Joseph Euler, good morning. Thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Hi, everyone. Hit that like on the way in. Consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. Every day you are not in the Telegram, you are missing out. Why wait? I agree with that completely. Wave 4 for XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, SU. Can't complain. Can't complain with that, Jordan. That's a solid list. RSR, thanks for joining Tom's Army this morning on New Year's Eve. You have made me the happiest person in the world today. In your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I don't know what I did to earn your paid subscription today, but I greatly appreciate it as it helps me put this content out. And every single time somebody joins Tom's Army, it's another reason why not to turn the advertising on during the lives themselves. I'll put it out on the replay so that they promote my stuff, even though they're doing a piss poor job lately. But I don't like having the interruptions during the live with the commercials. MQT, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meter, and a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Scotty trades in the Telegram. Tons of information between him and Nick and so many others in the Telegram. I wish more of you were in the Telegram. RSR, make sure you go on my YouTube page now that you're a member of Tom's Army. You can get the Telegram. You'll be member 498 in the Telegram. Just go to the memberships area. And when you click on the perks, I wonder if it'll show me. Let's see. There's a link down here for the exclusive Telegram. You just click on the exclusive Telegram and you can get in. That's for the members only. We used to have it for everybody, but a lot of spam took place, so we had to put some safety features in place. Frankie Fresh, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Thank you so much for your continued support. And Janine, if you're watching, Happy New Year. So blessed to have you in this audience. Julie says hi to everybody as well and Happy New Year. D. Billy, good morning. Appreciate seeing you back in here. Big Dog, thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Miss Jan, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. We're getting close to that 5-year badge, everybody, a couple months away. Can't wait. And Jan, thank you so much and Happy New Year to you, and thanks for being a very trusted mod. Bright Future Freedom, thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor along with William Hayes. CJ2 Pilot in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. Yep, a lot of people did tax harvesting this morning. This is the last day to do it. And then I think but yeah, I really do like what I'm talking about with the cutting back, the strategy, and then I'm just think about it in your head, the XXX ha going forward. That's all you have to remember. That's all you have to remember. Let's see. Crypto Cooter says, I agree on cutting tokens. I think I may go all in on Algo, ADA, Linea, XDC, and maybe XLM or HBAR. Nothing wrong with those tokens either. Just remember Linea on the 10th of this month. What is it? I think it's $1 billion. It's a lot, again. But they don't have a confined structure. It's on January 10th. Son of a bitch.
It appears there might be a slight confusion regarding the dates for Linea's token events. Based on current ecosystem data for 2025,
on January 10th, 2026, there's going to be a token unlock of 1.14 billion Linea, about 1.58% of their total supply. These tokens are primarily designated for Linea's consortium as part of their 10-year long-term alignment fund. So, I mean, this is going to be an issue every single month. There's like and this isn't like XRP. Now, 80% of Linea transaction fees are burned, big deal. But we have to deal with the continued, you know, just look at this as the US dollar. This is like an inflationary tactic. It's going to inflate the circulating supply, which deflates the pricing. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Happy New Year to you, and thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Yes, Happy Fox, you hear little T. He's here, my mom's here, so she decided she wanted to come over and spend the night last night. So she's hanging out with T right now. Silver Days, good morning. Charles, welcome. I know, appreciate that. Those guys are awesome. Bearded Viking, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. And we pray for Mighty Marcus and his continued fight against the good fight. He fights the good fight. And for your the continued ability to push forward, Bearded. We appreciate having you in here very much so. Very much so. I almost got you a wrench on. Oh, they're talking. Arichi, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XRP Predictor with Big Dog. Richard Balkamer as well. I really appreciate it, everybody, for tuning in. Brad, good morning. Only makes sense nowadays, the futures leverage trade. Some people would say that, but it's a very tricky proposition. Like, look at right now. We had this micro little pattern that it doesn't even need to play down that much. It's just a micro head and shoulders that was built. That's why we had this volatility this morning. You can see it too, how it was building up. We circled it yesterday. The right shoulder hadn't built out perfectly yet. Now it's pretty, you got a left shoulder ahead, right shoulder, possible double top on the right shoulder. If this wants to reset, you're talking about a double bottom probably somewhere around here. Which, honestly, is not a bad thing if it can hold. That would clear out more space, and then going into the new year, maybe after some harvesting here at the end of the year, we could get rolling here a little bit. But we don't want to break that $1.77 down. That's the bottom line. If this is a micro head and shoulders, you know, it's not going to be a crazy drop. It would just be something like this. Nothing crazy. But we drew that line across just in case it got rejected, and it did, a double top so far. So we have to acknowledge that. We're not afraid to acknowledge what's going on. In fact, like we've said, we're going to continue to confine these portfolios as the market allows us. Pooza's Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Brad Silverback, aka Dead Token. Let's see. Oh, I thought Dino tokens. Oh, you're talking to somebody. I got you. Let's see. I don't want to interrupt their conversation. Happy Fox Superstar, good morning. And thank you so much for being back here. Giving a lot of information the last couple of days to the audience. We got some great people in here. Mr. Stott, welcome in. And Mrs. Stott, thanks for being in town during 3+ months with the XP Meteors. And thank you so much, both of you, for being a very important part of this show in 2025. And even more important in 2026. Happy New Year to both of you. Let's see, who did I miss? Not many. Maple Man, good morning, and thanks for being in town during 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Happy New Year to you. And we appreciate it to Little T and Julie. Thank you so much from our family to yours. Lonzo, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Happy New Year to you, my friend. DJ Billy, thanks for the super chat. You sent one yesterday, too. Very generous. Thanks for the $9.99 donation. Says, #1 fan. I love that. Thank you so much for feeling that way. I really do appreciate that support. Makes me happy that you guys appreciate what I do enough to put your hard-earned money towards what I do. That's unbelievably thoughtful. All the World States, thanks for being in 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. Linea's current tokenomics are an issue to me. Me too. As much as I love the prospect, the tokenomics are a disaster right now because they don't have we got to let it settle out. You remember just let it happen? That's what I feel like with Linea and a couple others. Like with Axlar, just let it happen right now. Casper, just let it happen. It's the same story. There's so many that we like, but at the same time, it's a disaster the way it's setting up right now. Now, I'm fully prepared for what's happening right now. If this little micro pattern plays down, in fact, it'd be better for me. It'd be better for me. And what's happening here with XDC, I still believe it should backtest this area down here. I really believe if it's going to have it would be in its best interest. And now can we say maybe a double top formed here? It's possible. It's not going to run unabated, I don't think. And it would make a lot of sense to just tap that breakout. It would make me happy. That would be the validation you really need. Why am I not doing XDC short clips? I will be today. I was out. I didn't have full power at a time, so I kind of got thrown off the last like 36 hours or so. We were kind of in a weird loop because I was behind. But I definitely plan on doing that today. There was a reason though. We had very bad weather, and then our internet and everything went out for a little bit. We had no power in the house. Yesterday morning, and then it was a little strange in the afternoon with the winds and everything. So there was some catching up yesterday. So that's the reason why. Nothing more, nothing less. I actually was thinking about that yesterday, and I'm like, look at this. I haven't put anything out for XDC. So yeah, that's on me. That's on me. And I'm going to be doing a lot on XDC. So that's on me. Let's see. VeChain is labeled a Dino token, yet it's at near bottoms and is actually being used. Sounds like a good bet to me. Yeah, VeChain is, I don't know why it's labeled a Dino, but going forward, I mean, if we end up in the digital environment they talk about, this is one of the bigger ones when it comes to the smart style, from the smart side of things. The problem is right now is look at these big head and shoulders we formed. You can say take in the elevator up, take the stairs down, and if we break the down at 1042, that means we invalidate that support tap, and then we got a problem there. Because I mean, it's not a terrible problem, but what if you do break back down here and then we melt back through? So we've got to pay attention to this in the moment. I like the prospect of a wave 4, but we've talked about the possibility if this didn't play out, if wave 3 contracts farther down, that's where you start this weird scenario. And like, this is why I'm talking about this now, this strategy, because if it goes forward and we actually can do this properly, we're not going to need to worry about anything else. And not everybody's going to do what I do. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm a straight shooter, and we stay ahead of the market. And there's a reason why. Right now with gold and silver, my biggest fear, as I've been talking about for the last month or two, is that some are going to start to buy into the miners, and they're going to buy in at a time when they can't sit through the volatility because we've gone up 3, 4, 500% on some. I've got a couple that are up 400% this calendar year. The biggest one right now is probably Hecla, based on where it's at, but First Majestic is right behind it. They were both at practically the same price in the low $4 range before this parabolic spike started. Actually, a little bit below 4, but I bought it at low 4. Anyhow, silver's down 5.38%. It was extremely overbought. Like, this has to happen. You guys know where I'm projecting if it comes down. My projection would be that after this big volatile spike, if this is doing something, yeah, could it come back to 60? Maybe. It all depends. Now, it does look like it's forming. I think this is going to break down likely, though. We'll see. Doesn't seem like we should just be able to. It just seems like right now, you're flipping right now. This is for tax harvesting and things like that. It's a perfect time. This is your last trading day of this year. People are up and down, left and right. But listen, there's a big conspiracy that goes on here. I shared it on Facebook. Make sure you follow my Facebook page. I'll share it in here. I think I did in the actual what do you call it, homepage. But I shared this yesterday, and I just want to read it because this is I think it's important. So I shared about the bank insolvency alert. So silver vault holders, if you're storing silver in London, specifically with an HSBC or link, and this makes sense when it comes to silver, please, and we'll go back to crypto, but I want you to understand what's going on here. They're artificially driving the price down now, and they've raised the requirements for holding options. You had to put an extra 25% towards your options if you had options, or they were forced closed. So if you are storing silver in London, specifically with an HSBC or linked vaults, the paper silver market has officially broken. Reports today confirm that a systematically important London bullion bank has been declared insolvent after failing to meet a massive $2.3 billion margin call. Following a weekend of frantic attempts to raise capital, the exchange began forced liquidations of the bank's short positions at 3:03 a.m. What this means for your physical silver: the paper default. The bank's derivatives book is underwater. If you hold an unallocated account, you are an unsecured creditor of an insolvent institution. Your silver may not exist. With the vault lockdown, we are seeing reports of technical defaults where banks are refusing to process physical delivery requests as they scramble to cover their own holes. The contagion risk, the insolvency of a major clearer like HSBC, threatens the entire London Bullion Market Association. And remember, London is the spot market. The COMEX is the futures market. So pay very close attention to what's going on with London. It's a huge problem. So, let's see. Technical defaults, where banks are refusing to process physical delivery requests as they scramble to cover their own holes. The contagion risk, the insolvency of a major clearer like HSBC threatens the entire London Bullion Market Association, LBMA, settlement system. So the steps to take would be, if you have allocated silver with assigned serial numbers, move it. That's why I always say I don't trust the vaults. It's just like crypto. They say not your keys, not your crypto, which is, even if you have the keys, it's still not your crypto because it ain't shit. It's a digital number. But it's the truth when it comes to physical metals. If you don't hold it, you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't enjoy it, you can't caress it. You don't own it. You don't own it. So that's part of that. But yeah, so I believe this is a compounded effort to drive the price of silver down.
New Year's Eve pretzels.
Ooh, Julie's making New Year's Eve pretzels. Can't complain about that. The only thing I can say is I'm salivating because I haven't ate since 8 p.m. last night. Because I can't eat for 16 hours until noon. But anyhow, they're trying to drive the price of silver down. I believe that's why the mining stocks aren't reacting as poorly as they could be. However, this could be like the start to a big drop. Remember with Dolly Varden, if you were taking a short trade, that if this breaks 447 and ultimately below 428, that's probably going to drive it farther. But it's got a nice inverse head and shoulders set up. One could argue that maybe it's forming some kind of double top. But when it comes to the miners versus the actual pricing of gold and silver, it is at historic lows still. So There's still very big omnions that those are going to go up. But let's get back to crypto before I lose my whole audience. Even though that's very valuable stuff, we're not a commodities channel as much as I would like to be. But I still do a lot of videos when it comes to that, especially in the past. So XRP looking pretty bearish this morning. Let's just call it for what it is. Head and shoulders in the short term. Does it nullify what we've seen? Boom, boom, boom. Kind of. It kind of looks like it's nullifying it a little bit. Absolutely all the world stage. Silver and gold is two different spectrums right now. Two different spectrums. Let's see. I used to feel that way about XOP too. Gold is next. Let's see. I am confident there is no better community than ours. So many initiatives completed in 25 and more to come. Wonderful and smart community members. Nothing can stop us now. Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. Swift shows Linnea, Axelar, and Chainlink. Happy Fox. I find it fascinating that they say Axelar after what Circle did. Is there something more to this story with Linnea? Like, it's weird. It's weird. Everybody says they're choosing all these different ones, but if it's Linnea, and it's Chainlink, and it's fucking Axelar, and it's this one, and it's that one, can we get a little confluency and stick to one or stick to a node? Like, you got all these different ones. It leaves me like they're just fucking with us a little bit. Excuse me. Just messing with us. If Stronghold gets to where it needs to go, that's definitely a viable one, but it's still outside of the realm. It's outside of the realm of the traditional focus, but it's still in the realm. It's just, if I get massive profits Q1, I'm gonna put my tax liability into silver when it's cooled off. I mean, that's a nice. I like doing that kind of a strategy, pulling profits from this market and putting it into the precious metals. That's for sure, or commodities or whatever, depending on where it's at. H bar. I mean, these all look like we're getting a little bit of a bearish rejection in the micro. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with acknowledging it. We need to acknowledge it when it happens. I've heard that, Alonzo, about Axelar with Stronghold. For sure. Definitely heard that too. I love hearing everybody talk. Big Dog says Axelar, I think, Tom, is going to work like Quant. Linnea is the gas token, and it burns Ethereum. The full information is on Swift's website. Yeah, I don't mind that philosophy. See, that makes sense to me. Here, when you say it like that, that does make sense like that. Now, look how oversold we are in the 4-hourly with H-bar. Is it simply that we're just too overbought in the daily and we're trying to correct that? If it comes all the way back down to the bottom of this pattern, I mean, you could theoretically here, you could double bottom here. If it fell out, is it possible we come back down here to 6 cents and tap that October 10th wick? That's the one thing in all of these charts that you still have to pay attention to. That October 10th wick has not been cleared out by most things. Wondering how many large banks will follow and also become insolvent. Margin call on metals. Oh my God, it's insane. And everybody's talking about JP Morgan with the reverse repo. So if you don't know the difference between the repo and the reverse repo market, let's put it this way. At the end of the banking day, the banks, whatever money they have left, they basically give it back to the Fed. They get interest, whatever the case may be. It's basically the repo market takes that money back as a positive collateral. When you get a reverse repo, that means they don't have the money at the end of the day, and they actually need collateral from the U.S. government to maintain their solvency. When you hear reverse repo, oh boy.
Daddy working.
Hi, buddy.
Say hi, Dad.
Hey.
Say hi, Daddy. Grandma get you. Let
It's
Daddy go back
okay.
to
He's
work.
okay.
He's good. Come on. Daddy gotta work. What are you doing, mister? You gotta work so he can buy you all kinds of stuff. You come with Grandma. You come with Grandma right now.
Please, my American friends, if you are with a small private bank, be careful. Yep, that's why right now you basically got two choices in the U.S. And one, you can go with the biggest manipulator of them all, J.P. Morgan, and just stick with Chase, stick with the J.P. Morgan investor part of it because they're not going nowhere. You can stick with a credit union and run your risk. Obviously, credit unions are supposed to be, they've changed a lot in Michigan over the years. You want to say hi? They got finished. They got finished. Oh, my son's just out here, everybody.
Say hi.
We gotta get finished, PT.
Let Daddy finishes.
I'm almost done, buddy.
He's almost done.
Less than 20 minutes, bud.
Come on. No, I got you. I got you. How about you pick out a snack?
You want to pick out bubbles, maybe?
Come on. We'll go in your room and do some bubbles. You want to do some bubbles, mister? Yeah. Turn around. Ooh.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Appreciate that. $3 billion in FDIC, up to 250,000 at all the banks I've seen. Yeah, there's been a huge injection of capital, which I wonder if that's deteriorating us a little bit in the micro because of all of this stuff. Because when you look at this, like algo's down almost 3%. Others is only down 0.5%. The rest total three is about 1/3 of 1%. USDT dominance seems to me like it's continuing to get stronger here. If it does push out here, I mean, you're talking about pushing out to that 6.81, and then ultimately, because that's a cup and handle that we're formed right now. So it's almost like it's working within the handle and trying to break out here. So we'll see. That causes a big problem. We have an inverse head and shoulder, a triple bottom on the dominance chart. So unless that's invalidated, the more this percentage goes up, that's the more money that sits in stable coins instead of trading in crypto. So that's what I see. That's what I see. Vado Damas, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So, babes. What's wrong?
Because he wants to come out looking.
I could take this in the other room somehow. Mom, does he want to come out? All right, I'll go in the other room. I'll try.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. T, you come out. No, it's okay. T, you come out.
Okay. Sorry, Tom.
No, you're fine. T, you play.
You play. Come on, you want to play? You want? He's walking stairs. Okay. All right. Pretty soon, baby. Here, how about we get you something to eat? Maybe. Come here.
All right. We'll try to do this in here. Even though I'm going to have to stand here. But I don't want T to cry. If you guys don't know, my son's special needs, and he's autistic, and he's nonverbal, so I don't want him to be upset. No, yeah, he came out. It's just he doesn't want me to talk. He wants me to be quiet. So that's a big thing with how he is with his circumstances and stuff. He gets very noise sensitive, so for anybody who's had kids or knows kids like that, you'll understand. But that's okay. We deal with it. We deal. I'd say out of anybody you'll probably see on YouTube or on social media, I'm probably unique in the fact, my circumstance of what I have to deal with. But I think it gives me, shows my integrity. It helps build a more collusive group. But with XRP, the daily, we've still been stuck in this exact same setup. Nothing's changed. Like, nothing has changed in regards to the setup. It's just, if we wanted that micro push out, it's showing us a little micro bearishness now by having that head and shoulders yesterday. You know, and we're not going to act like it's not there. We're going to try to approach this properly. And we're going to try to see this in a constructive way. Like, I like the constructive way. I know MQ, which is Scotty Trades in the Telegram, and a few others have come in here and we've all talked about that $1.77 if it double bottoms, but understanding if it breaks that, the next layer would be $1.57. That's something we're very much aware of. And we're not going to hide from it if it happens. We've already got it set up in case it does. Where's the chart? That's the $1.77. Let's see. XRP, $1.65. If we ended up taking until, I mean, you could take this down. I mean, it almost comes into that area if you wait long enough, just on its own. If you get into mid-January, it comes down there by itself, and we're only 15 days away from there. That's what's making this so strange now, this pattern. It's on that bullish megaphone until it breaks down, and technically you could come back down and tap that and be down in that area and still be within this consolidation. That's not exactly the chart I wanted to show. Kind of wanted to show, where's the other one? This $1.57 right here. See, this is the one that I think long term, if we look at it from a more macro, you got resistance one, resistance. Here, let me pull the arrow out. This is the chart that I really like. Resistance, support, resistance, support. Consolidating. If it comes back down, it needs to tap that wick, which normally you would say it would drive back up on its own to the top, but because we had that historic liquidation wick, you could almost see it. Here, let me get rid of this. It's within this consolidation, which is the only thing keeping it up right now. I mean, it broke down, finished that pattern perfectly. So now there's no point to look at that. We can look at it in a different way. Try to clean up some noise. But because of this October 10th wick, and I know on some exchanges for XRP it's different, but where it's at right now, it would seem that October 10th wick, that would be a triple bottom there if we could hold that area. So that would clear that wick. Now on other exchanges it's different, but I do like how this one's set up on this exchange, and that would kind of be like a broadened wedge. And then if it broke down, I mean, that's where the big problem could happen. If we broke down and lost certain areas below there, but that's what it could be. If we lose that $1.75, that's the immediate issue. If you lose $1.75, well, I guess in real time, if you keep straggling this out a little bit, I guess you could stretch this out a little bit, or it just runs into it. But if you lose $1.75 area, I fear that it would just drop to $1.57. Whether or not we're going to go into wave 4 expansion or not, you could still technically contract in wave 3 here. You can still contract in wave 3 here. There's no doubt about it. Happy Fox says, this morning my mom asked for $200 to go to the casino. I just took it from crypto. I bet she does better than I will in time for. You know, at this point, with how it's going this morning, you might not be wrong. Yeah, the crypto fear and greed index is a problem as well. Nobody's fearing what they should be anymore. The crypto fear and greed index, it had pushed up a little bit. It's dropped back down. Oh, it's back to 21 now. That's not bad. It's at 21 right now, so that is not horrible. It had eked its way up, but it's dropped back down a little bit here, 21. Never forget my mistake on this day, guys. I bet we look back one day and I'm crying. The fear and greed is at 21. Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in town during 6+ months with the XP Predictor, says silver is crazy right now. It sure is. It sure is. I'm just glad we stayed ahead of this micro bearishness. You know, and if you guys are in the Telegram, I speak in few words because I can't tell you what to do. But I did put out a couple of communications. On the 28th, we talked about be careful because this is where the market could drop 4 to 5%. But that's not anything important. That's not what I shared yesterday. I mean, it is important. But I said yesterday at 3:55 p.m., please, everyone, be very safe right now. The market looks very dangerous. Protect capital, not financial advice. I'm not going to give financial advice. And then I just said, I expanded on it twice. Just be cautiously optimistic and make sure any move is with conviction. If you buy, be sure why you're buying. If you sell, make sure you understand the reason why you've made the decision. Nothing's changed in the last few days, just volatility, but often opportunity comes out of danger. The key is to assess the proper danger to ride. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find not just the proper danger to ride, but the exact area. I don't believe in time and market. I believe timing the market allows you the ability to have time in the market. Technically, you probably did good because the initial insertion was a good bet, and then you were able to have time in the market. Because if you mistime the market and you're down 60%, it don't matter how good or how much time you have in the market. It's going to be a long, slippery slope, and most people will cash out well before 60% down because, let's face it, if you put 10 grand into something and you see it down 3, 4, 5,000, you're not going to let it slip much farther than that. So whether it comes back around and picks you up or not, so I know the community really likes those short, quick alerts on Pager. Yep, I've noticed that too. And I've also tried, as you've noticed, to put more information out on Pager, even if it's something from Facebook that I like to write down and put on there. It's one reason I like Facebook. You know, I can at least write my thoughts down, and then I can use AI to help incorporate it a little bit better with, you know, maybe some visuals and stuff, and fix my spelling and then put it together grammatically better. But I like expanding. That's not something YouTube allows you to do. There's no platform where I can put a post out and they circulate it. Like, you guys might see it if I put a handwritten post, but it really doesn't do any good. I wish it did. With XDC right now at 509, is it going to break down? Is it going to continue up? XDC's been running pretty much on its own right now, but I still feel like it needs to come down. And you would look at opportunity if it comes back near that 4.7 area. Back testing where I circled it. This breakout. If it can back test that, then it would allow us to come back into this chopping range. This I put up there because over the top, that's going to be a nice liquidity zone over the top where you could either have people enter the market and it can be a form of distribution for a further move up, or it can be an area where people are looking to sell and the short traders step in. So right now I would expect more short traders on XDC only because they can see on a chart that back test hasn't happened in a short-term consolidation, and they might be playing it down to 4.7. They might get burned, but I think a lot of people are going to have that mindset. Just like I think a lot of people in this part of the market are going to have the mindset of XRP, that we have the 1 billion token release tomorrow. And that it could come back down to 175. In a unperfect world, it could come down a little bit lower now into that 169, 170 area. But ultimately, if it comes down there, that would probably invalidate the higher movement in the immediate short term, and it could very well drop it to $1.50. Well, we'll see how this works out. I don't like to just say, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen. A vote, guys. You pick glass floor or glass ceiling in 2026. I think it starts with a glass floor, how we're doing now. But remember, heading into midterms in 26, what's the whole platform our government's basing things on if they want to keep it in the same narrative? They've been putting crypto out there for a reason. So what I think after this cataclysmic drop that we're going through right now, they'll have a season, either Q3 or Q4. Make no mistake about it. Whenever there's an election, the risk assets start to pile up and start to move. And this is 2-year election. This is all like the governors and all that bullshit that I won't participate in or talk about because it's all nonsense. But I think that we're going to have some kind of movement there. A diamond pattern in the 6 hour. I don't know how you're doing it, though. That's the problem, because I've only got the 2 hourly. Nah, that wouldn't work. Unless you have it going down. Nah, that's I gotta look at this when I get off of here to look at that. Unless you have something already on Telegram, because you probably went farther out. Unless you did it in the short. In here. And could target 180. Yep. I could see that. We probably have a little pump with crypto around spring, then dump further into the end of the year. Yeah, I think it's gonna end up, man. The biggest problem with crypto is everything we've talked about. This is the biggest problem, and this is why it's more like we need to take advantage of these moments. And if you have profit, if you have money that you can have liquidity on, you need to have a set plan. You can't just, I don't think this is the time for the chasers market. Even if we have speculative tokens we like, this isn't the right market for it. This is the market for privacy tokens, for the ISO, the IoT, RWA if you believe in it, AI to an extent, but you got to know what you're doing because AI is a big bubble right now. It just is. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it is. There's just too many different companies, too many different crypto companies now that are AI attached. It all hit too fast, and eventually that liquidity flows out because it's just there's too much exhaustion. And with the 1 billion token release, like, it is what it is. It is what it is. We just have to deal with this how we always deal with this. That's if it breaks down. Now, if you want to invalidate this thesis of what we're talking about today, just get above $1.89. No, maybe a little bit higher. Get above $1.89. If it got above $1.89 and then could push past and invalidate this head formation, then we're going up. We're going to cook to $2 and see what happens. If it doesn't invalidate this, it's pretty simple. We're coming down. It's not even a debate. That micro pattern is everything right now. It's not a surprise that it put in 2 bearish 4-hour candles now, but it hasn't technically rode down out of this. It's just, that's a major reversal the way that this happened. So we need to get some volatility to the upside. Otherwise, this can get ugly. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs some desperate volatility because it's gotten rejected at the worst possible spot right now. First, it got rejected at the 4-hour time frame, which was our run-up that we were expecting, that we played for. That got rejected. And now we got a rejection at 88,433 today, finally. If that plays through, now we have no choice but to come down here on the next attempt at 85,858 range. Now, if you look at the other Bitcoin chart, the problem is we've fallen back outside of this consolidation. That's a bearish consolidation if it breaks down, obviously. And if it does, that's going to drive the price down towards 80K. Now, yes, you would have to break this support at 85 or 86. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end this. Are we buying back in at 270 or 170? We'll see if we get there. We'll see if we get there. Because it's like some say, we could start off with a V shape here somewhere. But everybody was talking about, and I know what you're talking about. You're making a joke because of this V right here. And then it just kind of. But when they did that little mini pump up this morning, I'm like, oh, that's confirmation. I'm serious. When I seen this come up right here this morning, right when the USA woke up, nonetheless, like I always talk about, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, give that false illusion, and they did it in that 45-minute candle, and hey, the USA woke up, we're going in, we're down. It's comical at this point. It's comical. Yep, that's exactly why I like H-bar. If I'm going to do the AI, not just as in an AI play, but you're talking privacy now and all this other crap that it deals with. They're the real privacy token that is going to move through blockchain. And the AI, it's got a lot of different things, a lot of different factors. So that's what I mean, refining what we have to fit our narrative. Like, I want an AI play, H-bar fits it. I want an ISO play, H-bar fits it. I want a privacy play in the digital space, H-bar fits it. For now, we're not. No, we're not. It hasn't come apart yet. Absolutely not. And even if it comes down to $1.77, we're still fine. Continue to preach that, MQ, because until it breaks this down to $1.57. And you know what? Another reason I put stock, I've already had a lot of stock in H-bar. But the reason why I still have it in the back of my head that, it's something different is Mike Maloney, the single biggest influence outside of like Peter Schiff for my gold and silver and my understanding of monetary policy and just how things work. He's a big, and he doesn't usually hold crypto. He's a big component of H-bar because of, the privacy part of it and what it can do in the digital landscape. So, they're giving us a little information in that regard. Little information here and there. But I'm going to go because obviously, my son, pay attention to the hat. I'll wear it going forward so it has the strategy. But it's XRP, XLM, H-bar. XRP, XLM, XDC, H-bar, and Algo. It's the XXX HA strategy is the way I want to, I'm presenting it now. End of the day, won't hit $1.80. I feel XRP will show strength. Hopefully that's as long as we can get back above this area and invalidate this short-term head and shoulders, which even if it plays down, it really only needs to come down. It's not a huge head and shoulders. But it could still drive you down to that $1.77. But then that could be a double bottom down there. We'll just have to see. We're just under $1.85. Nothing. It's like right at $1.85. So we'll see. But thank you all so much. Appreciate everybody. Really appreciate all of